From incredibly intense moments to scenes full of drama and insane plot twists and so much more, The Outer Banks has it all. With Season 3 just coming out recently, fans have started speculating about Season 4. With that said, here's a look at Season 3's ending before I learn more about the upcoming season. The show's latest season has brought about some incredible moments, but nothing tops the last episode. Not only that, but it ended up perfectly setting up the show for a new season. Who can forget about John B. and Sarah finally finding El Dorado and getting their hands on all that money, and even going up against Singh with an explosive just in time to get out. But that's far from everything that happened. The end of the season had another plot twist, and this one was really sad. Word and some of Singh's henchmen show up right before they're about to leave, with Word wanting to kill Big John. All the while, the henchmen are after Sarah. A huge fight takes place in which Word saves Sarah, but unfortunately, Big John isn't so lucky and gets shot, ultimately dying on the boat and bringing every single viewer to tears. Just when you thought that this was all the show had to offer, it pulled off another huge twist and perfectly set up a fourth season. Of course, I'm talking about that insane time jump right at the end of the episode. Everyone's busy celebrating finding El Dorado, but this stranger pops up out of nowhere, claiming that he knows where Blackbeard's treasure is and that he needs partners for that. It might seem super simple, but it's an incredible setup for another season. And if I'm being honest, it looks like it will be their last adventure. At least, that's what it seems like right now.
New villains, new rivalries.
Yes.
All that.
So
yeah.
it's got all the things.
New villains.
Okay,
yeah.
so the trailer asks, was the treasure an escape or was it a trap? What does that mean? What do you think?
Ooh, I would love to tell you. I would.
That's
Tease me. Tease me. You don't have to tell me.
I would say all good things in life, sometimes, you got to look through a different lens. And sometimes when your relentless pursuit forward is blinded by the reality of the things that are going on outside of it. So
It's like that.
Okay, it's a good tease.
That Moby Dick thing, huh? Where you're like chasing the white whale.
But what could the fourth season be about? That's one of the biggest questions people have been asking about the upcoming season. But if I'm being honest, it could play out in two completely different directions. There was a huge time jump, 18 months, in the last episode of Season 3. So they could use the fourth season to tell you more about some of the adventures the entire gang went on during that time. You could finally find out just how they even became some of the most famous people on the island. That is, right after they were some of the most wanted ones over there. It could work to make the show go on longer, but sooner or later, they're going to have to go for the second option. What's that? Well, it's the same treasure hunt hinted at the end of the third season. While it may not be a treasure hunt per se, and could be more like a hunt for the truth, it seems like it's probably going to have some treasure involved. I'm not going to lie, a treasure hunt in which they try to find out more about Blackbeard's hidden treasure would be hype. It's Blackbeard after all, who wouldn't want to see that? In fact, the show's creators even talked about the future of the show, specifically the co-creator, Josh Pate. They say they aren't sure how they will bring the show to an end, but if they can, they for sure plan on bringing more and more seasons of it to your screens in the future. As a matter of fact, he said that they're going to try and keep it going for as long as possible without ruining the quality. I just hope that they don't prioritize keeping it going. And if a chance to end it on a good note does come around, they actually end it. You and I have both had enough of shows that get dragged on for too long just to end up with no viewers. But it also seems like they care about it. So here's to hoping that the show keeps putting out incredible seasons.
You are the best son any man could hope for.
Unfortunately, I can't predict the writers' habits and their future, but I think that anytime that you experience tragic loss of that level, and it's not just him anymore, it's Sarah, and Sarah's lost her father, and Ward has gone from being a villain to a hero, and he dies a hero's death. And so going through that, I think there's now this newfound trust in one another to make the decision collectively and not just as a singular individual, and that goes for the entirety of the Pogues. So
on the other hand, who's going to be in the cast? There really isn't much news about the upcoming season's cast, at least not specifically, but you can be almost completely sure that all of the main cast is going to be back. Of course, I'm talking about Chase Stokes playing the beloved John B, while Madison Bailey rocks the world with her Kiera. All the while, Madeline Klein does a great job as Sarah Cameron, and Jonathan Davis plays Pope. But that's not all. You've also got JJ, played by none other than Rudy Panko, and Rafe, played by Drew Starkey, followed by Topper, played by Austin North. Along with them, there's also Carlacia Grant's portrayal of Cleo, and Charles Eston playing as Word Cameron, even Cullen Moss as Shope. And of course, I can't forget about Caroline Arapoglu's Rose Cameron, Julia Antonelli's Wheezy Cameron, and Andy McQueen's Carlos Singh. Finally, you've got Big John played by Charles Halford, Limbury played by Elizabeth Mitchell, and Hayward by Roger Mitchell. While the cast is possibly as incredible as ever, there might be some future additions to it. Given the show's history, it's safe to say that any future additions will be worth it. While that's all good, is season 4 even going to happen? There's some incredible news for fans of the show out there. Yes, there is going to be a 4th season and even more, but officially, there's only been confirmation of a 4th season. In fact, Netflix itself announced it quite recently. All of it took place at the famously loved Pogelandia festival held by the streaming giant itself, where all members of the cast were present. This might not be that surprising to some of you out there, but they were all over there for one reason: to announce that the show is going to be back for another season. And as you'd expect from an announcement about a show that everyone loves, people were absolutely stoked. In fact, fans started freaking out, even on social media. This was even better news for fans because not even season 3 had been announced back then. Why'd they done that though? Well, it could simply be to make sure that fans can relax and watch season 3 without worrying that the show's going to end. Or they were just trying to get everyone riled up about it. Either way, it apparently worked wonders. If you're a fan of the show, then you're basically grinning from one ear to the other with so much good news. But when is the next season going to come out? While the next season has been confirmed, there really isn't any news out there about when it's going to air, which makes sense since the 3rd season just came out. But that surely doesn't mean that they will suddenly change their release pattern, especially since they've been following it somewhat ever since season 1. But if things do go according to plan and there aren't any delays because of unprecedented reasons, then it's fair to say that season 4 could be dropping on your screens in about a year and a half, somewhere around the end of 2024, or possibly the start of 2025. As far as word on its trailer goes, sadly, there still isn't one out. But again, that just makes sense for now. They've got to get that entire production cycle over with before they can put that out, though they're probably going to put that out sometime in 2024 as well. But until then, you've got more than enough time to check out the 3rd season for more clues, or even Easter eggs that might link it to season 4. That's been a look at all you need to know about the 4th season of The Outer Banks.